The ties between Hyrule's royal bloodline and the Sheikah predate the founding of Hyrule and the royal family. Pledged to serve the goddess, for thousands of years the Sheikah operated in the shadows, protecting the Princess Zelda and ensuring that she's able to fulfill her destiny. But roughly 10,000 years prior to the events of Breath of the Wild, something happened, and that close-knit tie between the royal family and the Sheikah was broken, leading to a fracture that ultimately contributed to Hyrule's collapse. Welcome to part 2 of our Legends of Hyrule series, leading up to the release of The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. My name is John Rairdon, and within this series I'll aim to get you caught up on the lore and theories you'll need to know going into Tears of the Kingdom. So join me as we dive into the Sheikah, their extremist sect, the Yiga Clan, and their role in the resurrection of Ganon. It's no secret that Breath of the Wild takes place at the end of the Zelda timeline. While a mistranslated Japanese website caused many to believe it was somehow the unification of all 3 split timelines, the truth is that while that may be true, it's never actually been confirmed. But no matter which or how many timelines Breath of the Wild, and by extension Tears of the Kingdom, flow from, the Sheikah have played a critical role in all of them. From both the beginning of the timeline and the beginning of the Zelda series, the Sheikah woman Impa has served as a guardian of Princess Zelda. In The Legend of Zelda: Skyward Sword, canonically the earliest game in the series, Impa guided Zelda as she traveled across the surface world to awaken her dormant abilities. In the original Legend of Zelda on the NES, Impa was the one who set Link on his quest to rescue Zelda after she was taken by Ganon. But beyond the relationship between Impa and Zelda, the Sheikah have served Hyrule in much grander and often darker ways as well. During the Hylian Civil War, which occurred several years before the events of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, the Sheikah served not only as soldiers, but jailers, interrogators, and even torturers on behalf of the royal family. At the conclusion of the war, their dungeons were left abandoned, serving as a haunting reminder of a dark time for any who ventured into them. The Sheikah founded and largely reside within Kakariko Village. The only thing that often separates Sheikah from Hylians visually is their traditionally white hair, but given their lack of anatomical difference from Hylians, it's unclear if the Sheikah is a race unto itself or merely an order within Hylian culture. Their tendency to live in secret makes it unclear exactly how many of the unassuming inhabitants of Kakariko Village throughout the years have been Sheikah. As the years passed, the Sheikah developed technology at a speed well beyond the rest of Hyrule. 10,000 years before the events of Breath of the Wild, as the cycle of Ganon's return drew near, the Sheikah developed an army of mechanized guardians and massive constructs called divine beasts. Combined with the strength of Zelda and Link, they were able to seal a powerful form of Ganon that had long forsaken its physical body. However, following their success, the King of Hyrule grew concerned that the Sheikah were gaining too much power thanks to their technology. He forbade the development of such technology and buried the Guardians and Divine Beasts. The Sheikah themselves were cast out, exiled, and their ties to the royal family were largely severed. This caused an ideological split within the Sheikah, whose allegiance had always been to the goddess Hylia. Some decided to cast off their technology and lived peaceful, though isolated lives in Kakariko Village, returning to a simpler way of life. However, a growing group of Sheikah felt that if Hylia had forsaken them, perhaps it was time to turn to a new god, perhaps the imprisoned god, Demise, instead. These Sheikah eventually christened themselves the Yiga Clan, and made it their goal to resurrect Ganon, Demise's personified form. Perhaps in a bid to be closer to the birthplace of their defeated king Ganondorf, the Yiga settled in an ancient Gerudo excavation site. Within this ancient structure, they covered the eyes of sculptures of Gerudo deities with an image of an inverted Sheikah eye, symbolizing their rebellion against the Sheikah, the royal family, and Hylia. Their goal has been to prevent the rise of the hero and the princess, and to facilitate Ganon's resurrection. They are constantly in conflict with the Gerudo themselves, who the Yiga feel have forsaken their ancestral ties to Ganondorf, who was himself a Gerudo. As the years and generations of the Hylian royal family passed, the relationship between the Sheikah and the royal family began to be repaired. While the events presented in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity describe an alternate reality caused by a character time-traveling from post-Calamity Hyrule, the setup we see before anyone interacts with that character can be assumed to be consistent with the events leading up to Breath of the Wild. Here we see that Impa has once again taken the role of companion to Princess Zelda, and the Sheikah have been tasked with helping the Hylians to uncover their divine beasts, an army of guardians, though the lost knowledge of all that technology does prevent things from moving along very quickly. A few researchers, such as Pura and Robbie, are both working to re-establish Sheikah understanding of advanced technology. They'll ultimately continue this pursuit long past the Calamity itself and help in the eventual defeat of Calamity Ganon. Inversely, it's likely, based on the events that we already see in motion in Age of Calamity, that the Yiga Clan themselves directly contributed to Ganon's revival, 100 years before the events of Breath of the Wild. In many ways, the split between the Sheikah and the Yiga personifies the duality of their role throughout Hyrule's history. They were simultaneously seen as guardians and figures of great wisdom, while also being trusted with Hyrule's darkest needs. They protected the royal family and, most importantly, Zelda, while also serving as assassins in service of the king. When we meet the Sheikah and the Yiga in Breath of the Wild, their entire culture has been split along this line. With Hyrule's most deadly defenders exiled by a king who feared his people would betray him, Hyrule's capacity to defend itself was severely weakened, and the armies of Ganon strengthened. The Sheikah split represents the hubris of Hyrule that ultimately led to its defeat. We've yet to get a clear look at much Sheikah involvement in Tears of the Kingdom, but with Ganondorf resurrected, you can be sure that the Yiga will be the first to rejoin him. Even after Link defeats their leader, Koga, in Breath of the Wild, the Yiga Clan shows no signs of slowing down. It's even possible that the Yiga themselves played a very direct role in bringing Ganondorf himself back to power. That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed it, consider subscribing, and if you haven't seen the previous episode covering the Zonai, be sure to check that out as well. We'll be posting new episodes of Legends of Hyrule every week until the launch of Tears of the Kingdom, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of them. You could even turn on that notification thing if you want to. If you want to chat with us about this or anything else Nintendo related, you can join our Discord using the link in the description, and if you want to get in touch with me specifically, you can reach out on Twitter using the handle on screen. Once again, I'm John Raridan, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. This video was made possible by our generous supporters on Patreon. Did you know that Nintendo World Report is funded directly by fans like you? When you support Nintendo World Report on Patreon, you get immediate access to multiple exclusive podcasts every month, exclusive Discord channels, an early look at select content, and more, all for as little as $1 a month. Check out patreon.com/NWR for all the details.